We start with breaking news on Wink News at 4. Right now, the state of Florida mourns alongside of students and faculty of Florida State University. Yesterday, here on Wink News at 4, we learned that 2 non-students were killed and 6 others were injured. Today, we have learned the identity of one of the people killed, a university dining coordinator, Robert Morales. Wink News brought you complete coverage of the tragic event, from parents here in Southwest Florida with students in Tallahassee to live coverage on the FSU campus. Hello, I'm Russ McCaskey.
And I'm Emma Heaton, and for Amanda Hall. Wink News anchor Lois Tomey joins us now. And Lois, today students got to go back and get the things that they left behind. And this afternoon, doctors also gave us an update on those who were in the hospital.
Yeah, in fact, we learned that all 6 of the people who are in the hospital are expected to make a full recovery, which is great news. In fact, 2 of the victims could go home today from Tallahassee Memorial. Trauma surgeon Dr. Brett Howard said the hospital learned of the shooting shortly before noon yesterday, and medical staff immediately prepared for however many victims they needed to treat. Today we have continuing team coverage of the aftermath. In just an hour, students will gather on campus for a vigil. Wink News reporter Maddie Herron was the first Southwest Florida reporter on the air from Tallahassee. She's live there for tonight's 5 p.m. vigil. The alleged shooter, identified as 20-year-old FSU student Phoenix Eichner, is said to have exchanged gunfire with officers before being brought into custody. You see in this video here circled what looks like the shooter walking through campus. Wink Investigates reporter Olivia Jean is taking a closer look at the background of the shooter, who is also the stepson of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy. And Wink News anchor Claire Galt spoke to state lawmakers as some of them get to work on how to make sure this never happens again. And stay with Wink News as our security analyst and retired FBI agent answers some important questions on the investigation. All of that coming up. Back to you guys.
Hi, Lois. Thanks. And like we told you earlier, students and faculty on campus will hold a vigil. That's going to happen in a little less than an hour, coming up at 5 o'clock. We continue our team coverage with Maddie Herron, who is on campus in Tallahassee. So, Maddie, do the students know who these victims are?
From the students I spoke to, no, not yet, but that's not stopping hundreds of them from honoring these victims. There was a line of flowers that once separated the campus from a crime scene and a memorial, but instead, students are now walking through it, taking the next step towards coping with unimaginable tragedy. But flowers, balloons, and candles are not the only way this community plans to uplift the 6 people injured and mourn the 2 people who died. In less than an hour, there will be a school-wide vigil held at the Unconquered statue. FSU senior Anna Hyatt said she won't miss it.
We're going to the vigil tonight at the Unconquered statues. We're thinking about the students that are, in the hospital right now. It's like, their lives just got turned upside down, especially the 2 that died.
Very emotional time, and as you can see behind me, we're already setting up for this vigil. We have chairs, we have a stage. We know that FSU's president is going to speak, along many others, and of course students will be here grieving with their community. We'll bring you the latest when this starts at 5 p.m. Live in Tallahassee, Maddie Herron, Wink News.
Maddie, thank you. Now we move to the next part of our team coverage. The accused shooter, a 20-year-old student at FSU. Police say he is the stepson of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy, and he had access to one of her former service weapons, a weapon they found at the scene. Wink News investigative reporter Olivia Jean joins us now. Olivia, what have you uncovered about the shooter's past?
Well, I have obtained several different court documents relating to Phoenix Eichner. These records detail a dysfunctional family, to say the least. In 2015, his mom and dad were in a brutal custody battle with Eichner right in the center of it. His dad claimed at the time the 10 or 11-year-old had a variety of mental health issues. The now 20-year-old pictured here at the scene, with the scene that unfolded at Florida State University yesterday, is in custody after being shot by law enforcement. He waited for an hour in an FSU parking garage before the first shot is fired. Tallahassee police say he walked in and out of buildings and green spaces shooting students. In the court documents, we learned that Eichner has developmental delays and special needs and was at the time on medication for several health and mental issues, including growth hormone syndrome and ADHD. It's unclear what or if any medical problems were apparent during these recent years. I spoke with a retired FBI profiler who has worked on some huge cases like the Columbine shooting in 1999. She told me shooters often emulate prior attacks like Columbine, so those investigating are looking at internet search history. She told me what she would do if she was investigating.
At what point did this shooter start to manifest or show early warning behaviors of what he intended to do? This is what's key. We learned in these cases, and we see it repeated time after time, that there are certain warning behaviors. And we have tried to tell parents and teachers and others who are involved with adolescent development, look for these warning behaviors.
She went on to say that everything that has come out so far is keeping in line with other mass shooting cases. And with Eichner alive, we are able to put the pieces together easier. There are still so many unanswered questions here, and we anticipate those will be answered in the coming days, like what was the motive? So far in 2025, there have been 80 mass shootings in the United States. Emma, Russ.
All right, Olivia, thanks. Everybody wants to know that. One question, why? All right, now we want to focus on the hard conversations that state lawmakers have to try to make sure that this never happens again.
Here's a student explaining what he could have done if laws were a little bit different.
That's not good, for lack of a better term. No, essentially, fight or flight response obviously kicked in immediately, and the only thing that came in my head was run. There wasn't any, I'm not armed, of course. We don't have campus carry here in Florida, so I wasn't in a position to fight. So because of that, I said, nope, I'm getting out of here, ran as fast as I could, and then as soon as I thought I was in a somewhat safer position, i.e. out of the immediate sight of the gunman, I said, okay, I need to start getting people to call 911 because this needs to be handled now. The police need to be involved right now.
After the 2018 massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, the age to buy a firearm was raised from 18 to 21. But right now, state lawmakers are considering removing that law and lowering the age back to 18. Wink News anchor Claire Galt joins us in studio. Claire, you spoke with state lawmakers today. Does this shooting change things?
Emma, not for State Representative Mike Gianlombardo. He told me, in fact, the House has already passed the bill. He co-sponsored it. I hopped on the phone with Gianlombardo about an hour ago. He told me he's been up at the Capitol. He has not heard any talk about making any changes anytime soon.
The firearm was just a tool. And, sometimes we, when people are making laws, they want to blame the tool or the item when there's a much more deep-rooted problem. I think a huge problem that we have in our country is, there's a lot of mental health issues. So we should be maybe tackling that versus going after, any other, going after firearms. I co-sponsored the bill to bring it to 18. I did that for a reason. I believe that's our constitutional right. That's our Second Amendment right to bear arms.
Now, Wake News went to Shoot Straight, a gun range in Fort Myers, and we asked gun owners, do you think the age to buy a firearm should be lowered back from 21 down to 18? Take a listen.
I think that was a very valid thing to do, the 21 raise. If you're going to look at situations where there are shooters and you deal with schools, invariably they're young.
I believe someone who's safely trained, and there's a lot of people that are, trained it long before then, but I believe 18, if you can go to war and get killed, I believe you should be able to have a weapon, especially rifles for hunting.
Now, this is not a done deal. The Senate could still block this effort. The committee chair has yet to put it on the agenda. But the families of these Parkland victims, these 17 people who pleaded with lawmakers to raise this age, have made it very clear they would be heartbroken to see this reversed. Back to you.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. Claire, thanks. Well, we still have a lot to get through, so make sure that you keep it right here on Wink News and stay logged on to winknews.com for the very latest details as more information comes out. And coming up at 4:30, our security analyst and retired FBI agent Richard Kolko is going to join us here at the desk. We're going to ask him what investigators are doing today with this case. All right, right now I want to get to some breaking news. We have a brush fire in North Fort Myers. You can see some of that smoke there rising in the middle of your screen. This is near Hampton Road and Piney Road. Wink News reporter Bianca Smith is there. Bianca, what are you seeing now?
Well, when we came over the Edison Bridge, the first thing that I noticed were huge black clouds coming into the air. We saw flames spitting out. I'm going to step out of the way so that you guys can get a better look. But Wink News, we do report here that we are on a fire watch in this county, and that there is a higher there's a higher risk to fires right now. And I've already been to 2 fires this week, and Gary Holt from the Forest Park Development told Wink News that it's a dry season here and there's a lot of fires, and he's encouraging people to stay vigilant. We've been watching people come out of their homes, getting out of the area. The roads are blocked off to the area right now, and we do have people peeking out from their businesses. We don't know when the fire started, or we don't know how the fire started. We don't know what the extent of the damages are just yet. I did contact the North Fort Myers Public Information Office to find out how big this fire is and what's going on with it. But the video that you guys are seeing on your screen right now is the fire. We don't know much about it yet, but I'm going to stay out here and report back to Wink News when I know more. Reporting live in North Fort Myers, Bianca Smith, Wink News.
Bianca, thank you. We have some more breaking news for you here in Southwest Florida. A deadly crash on I-75 North causes major traffic backups. It's happened for hours now. It happened just before 2 o'clock p.m. near mile marker 131. That's the Daniels Parkway exit. We know this crash shut down the northbound lanes there and the northbound on-ramp at Daniels Parkway. These live pictures showing just how bad that backup is. You can see people being diverted off at Daniels Parkway right there. So if you don't need to use the highway today, I would recommend you stay away. If you need to use the highway, rather, stay away from this area. Take a different route. We'll keep you updated once things clear up.
All right, new at 4, another case of Wink getting results. The Wink News viewer tipped us off about a mountain of trash in Lehigh Acres. This is at 59th Street West. So we asked the Lee County Sheriff's Office about it. They told us they did not have a report about it. Lo and behold, we went out there and we found this. Tons of trash and debris in the area. Lee County Solid Waste worked to pick up that trash this afternoon, and it would not have gotten done without the help of Wink News and our Wink News viewers. So thank you so much.
2 softball teams with their eyes on a state title sit here in Southwest Florida. Rivals North Fort Myers and Fort Myers prepare to go at it. How soon the 2 teams could meet in the playoffs.
And it has been a very warm week across Southwest Florida, and so with that, this holiday weekend is going to be toasty. I'll have more in the forecast coming up after the break.